welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. How are you doing today? How's everything? Are you okay? How are you feeling? How's life? Difficult, challenging? Are you wondering why you can see things that other people don't see? Are you like scratching your head? Is your mouth up, dropped and like, don't people see what's going on? Is it just me? Am I going crazy? Or why is it that nobody, can't put the pieces together? They just don't see it. They don't see through things. What's going on? Why am I so different? It's a great subject, and I think we should tackle that right now. We should talk about it. It's time that we talk about this subject, and it's going to be a little bit disturbing for some people, and it's going to be maybe exhilarating for others. That's not really why I'm making this video. I'm just making this video purely and simply because it's important we know and have a few different perspectives towards what's going on and why the world is the way it is, and what shapes it and what makes us the way we are. Now, one of the things I like to say to people is that those that see are a kind of lighthouse for the world. And people smile and say, you're a lighthouse, but that has a double-edged sword, okay? It really does. Although you're giving information and you're trying to help people, when you think about it, what is a lighthouse, okay? So for those who are at sea and it's dark moments, they know that the lighthouse is there to keep people well away from the rocks and the issues that could kill them. So in theory, a lighthouse is a beautiful thing, but also you don't want to get too near to it. And I consider myself like that in these times. So the more I shine that light, the more people keep well away from me. So it's a double-edged sword. It's an interesting concept and it's interesting thought, but I really do believe that at times. So in a spiritual speaking manner, a lot of people don't want to be anywhere near me, or don't want to get too close to people like us because they don't want to go there. It's too dangerous. That's an interesting concept. However, we're going to talk about today the reason why we see and others don't see in the same way. Now, that doesn't mean they're wrong and you're right. It just means that we see differently. So that's the first thing I want to say. We all see differently, meaning that we all see certain things at certain times that other people don't see. There is an effect of some people see that they didn't see 10 years ago. So does that make them different from you? Well, it's a great topic of conversation, but I want to stick to one particular thought right now, and that is why you see what you see and others are not seeing what you're seeing right now. I have a kind of open mind to this, and what I've seen over these, especially 2 years, I've come to understand that the 20 years that I've worked, all the pieces are fitting together more and more. I have met many people who I've sat with and felt their energy, felt their spirit within inside them, and felt very, very disturbed by certain people. And I often ask myself, is it the feeling that I'm disturbed because of their mind, or is it because of the spirit? Is it because of the mind's energy that is creating anger, fear, resentment? Or is it something within inside the spirit that there is no empathy, there is no love, there is only an energy of power, greed, manipulation? I've come to the point of understanding that we are different entities within the spacesuit. I've come to understand quite clearly that some people we meet we cannot resonate with at all. And sometimes we meet people at certain moments where we just feel that something is so special about that person, and that person looks at you and feels that same energy. I've met a few. There's been times I've met that person, and when you've been in that energy, you feel like you're trying to make sense of it. And sometimes we make sense of things in a way that might not be quite the way it is. And I'm going to give you a for instance, and I'll back it up as well. So the phenomena of soulmates, I find that fascinating. When two people came to me when I first started the work, it was about 5 years into the work, two people came to see me. It was two women And they were both sat next to each other. I didn't often do readings with two people together because I always like the energy of just feeling one frequency and working on that. Sometimes you can be a little bit distracted, and sometimes you can have somebody in the background and then you can be tuning into them and realizing actually you're not speaking to these two, you're speaking to the woman behind or the man behind or the grandma. So sometimes I did this when people insisted and they wouldn't stop. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. There was two women who came to see me, and I could feel the energy of both of them. The energy of both of them, they felt that they were soulmates and they wanted to understand more. They left and I contemplated all of this. But anyway, I did this a few times, maybe 15, 20 times, of people who believed they were soulmates. I've come to the understanding that soulmates is something that's a distraction from what the real truth is. And that is that you come from a same, let's say, planet, to make it easier. So you come from the same place, and the feeling that you feel from that person is a feeling of home, of warmth, of understanding, of everything that, oh, we both feel each other. Yeah, because you come from the same place. So do I believe that spirit comes from different parts of the universe? Of course they do. This is a cosmos. It's so big, I'd be an idiot not to think that that's the case. So there are different spirits, different entities, different lights, different sources of everything that come from different places. So, and how I back that up is this: why is it that soulmates never seem to be able to hit it off, or never seem to be able to live together, or seem to go crazy with each other? Well, that's because you're not soulmates. You just know each other, and you've come from the same place. So now you're trying to live with each other. You're trying to figure out, why is it that we're not really getting on? Because it's not really what you thought it was. That's my understanding. Okay, my understanding. Some soulmates believe that they are and they live happily ever after. Well, I don't know about that. I'm just telling you what I've learned. When people say, oh, I found my soulmate, I'll go, oh, be careful. What do you mean? Nothing. Oh, you were right. It was bloody nightmare. It was a nightmare. They were showing me this and showing me that, and I was getting upset, and we were fueling each other, and like, yeah, because maybe you weren't soulmates. Maybe you just know each other from a past life. In another world, from another world. So your spirit is of same energy. So you've come from a different place of the universe, and you've come here and you've bumped into each other. Nothing's by coincidence, of course, but it's interesting. So going back to this topic of conversation, which is something that I've just forgot. Eat some walnuts, Mark. I seriously have forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, people being different. This guy is different. He's a nutter. When you go nuts, eat nuts. So yeah, the topic of conversation was about why we're so different from each other. So, getting a little bit more serious, Matt, come on. Why is it that some people don't see what we see? Because we're different from them. The spirit inside is different. Now, I don't believe in this young soul, old soul phenomena. I don't believe it. I just believe that some spirits have experienced things different than others. So I don't like to say, oh, you're a young soul. Maybe they're just from a different place. They're a different spirit that don't have the gifts that others have, or have the experience that others have. Yes, you can call it young souls, but I think they're different from us. And I think that there's a lot of people who are coming here to learn. So a lot of people coming to the spacesuit to learn and understand what's going on. And some people come back here to try and help shine a light on those that don't see what we see. That sounds arrogant, I know. It sounds like we know more than others, I know. And it's awful to say these things, but you want to know why they don't? I'm trying to explain in the best I can as a healer and what I've seen. So what kind of entities are you talking about? What kind of spirit are you talking about? What kind of lights in this world? These different worlds of the cosmos. This is free for all. I believe wherever we come from, we come into a space to experience certain feelings, thoughts, and definitely the experience of this earth that no other world does experience. It's a very, very special world. And I think that I believe that people who come from the dimension of this dimension, or maybe others, let's say aliens, okay, let's say other creatures, other people who wear different spacesuits, they know they know that this planet is special, and they know that because they've got the spirit inside them, they know that we are all spirit. They know that, and that's why they communicate in that way of telepathy. So they know that this planet is important. That's why they look after it. That's why they're always coming down and stopping nuclear missiles being fired. It's a phenomena which aggravates, absolutely infuriates the psychopaths who are in control of these buttons. But it's true. So we are different. Now, I'm going to give you some examples. When I was at the height of my healing work, I was experiencing a diverse amount of spacesuits coming into my reading room. And one of those spacesuits, which is this spacesuit, was people who seemed to come back into a spacesuit for greed, power, and wealth. Some came back to cause great harm, manipulate, hurt, send fear. Some came back to cause a lot of ritualistic abuse and things like that. So many of these spacesuits would sit down in front of me, and I would feel them, okay, and I think, okay, you're not like me. The spirit within you is different. It's not the same. So it is something to bear in mind. It's something that might make you think, okay, let me think about what Matt just said. There might be something in that, I think. Do I feel that feels right? Just think about it. Feel it. Do you think we are all coming from the spirit world here? I don't think so. I don't. I really don't. And the reason why is, in my healing process, when I'm trying to communicate to the spirit or spirits that will come forward to speak to this person or to share messages, I found a lot of the times that certain spirits within the spacesuit were almost impossible to communicate with. So all I was speaking to was the brain. So I was speaking to the spacesuit, but not the spirit inside. It was hard to connect. It was hard to feel. It was hard to express myself and to try and help the person understand in a spiritual manner. We could not break through. We could not communicate. And when they'd leave, I'd sit down and think, I was just wasted my time there. I wasted my energy. So what was that all about? They came for power, they came for wealth, they came for knowledge in future. Are they going to be famous? Are they going to be rich? Are they going to be powerful? But there was no communication at all with their spirit. There was no feeling of, I can feel you, because they're not like us. They're different. They come from a different place. Does that make them worse? No, it doesn't. Does it make them better? No, it doesn't. They're just different. And I don't see anybody being better or worse than others, because we can all be triggered and do terrible things in the name of protection, in the name of whatever, defense, self-defense. So I don't buy into any of that. We can all do terrible things, and inside us, there's all good and bad. There's all yin and yang. There's all light and dark. So, but I do believe there is a distinction between different spirits. Now, how do I know this? I've read for, let's say, priests, okay, that came to me that felt the need and the urge to want to cause suffering to children, because they felt that it was an addiction, that they needed this feeling of empowerment, of sucking their energy and taking from them. And that was a real concern to me. And I could feel that spirit inside wasn't a great and powerful and wonderful entity. I felt it was a quite dark and manipulating spirit inside that was controlling the spacesuit. So if you imagine the spacesuit does everything for you, it lives in this world, it breathes the air, just like a spacesuit. It has buttons inside to do certain things, and the spacesuit opens up so it digests certain food and so on. But the spirit inside the spacesuit is different. So the spirit does different things. You feel the spirit in a different way. So I don't buy into somebody that I see and think, oh, they're nice. I don't. That's just a spacesuit. I feel them and feel their spirit. So to finalize, I believe with my whole heart that certain spirits inside this spacesuit, on this planet, right now, are here to shine a light on the world that they see, and all they care about is sharing truth like a lighthouse in trying to protect and keep people safe. And then there's other people who are completely different in the sense of spirits that are in a spacesuit, that have no understanding, that don't even contemplate or even grasp that, because their energy and their experience is completely different. So what they experience is about power, is about hurt, is about doing things for themselves, selfishness, and lots of things that they're self-protecting and not even contemplating anything other than that. So that is a certain type of spirit. There's another certain type of spirit that do terrible things because that is part of their energetic frequency. It's what they need and want, and that's all they see. So yes, I do believe we're not all the same. There are definitely reasons why, and this is just one of the reasons why. And I'm sure I've upset a lot of people, but you know what, it is what it is. But there is also an argument, and a good argument to be had, to me, by saying, hang on, Mark, you weren't like that when you were 38. Before that, you were just chasing your tail. Yes, that's right. I wasn't enlightened. I didn't see. But deep down, I knew all of it. Deep down, I could see, and I chose not to see. Deep down, I did good and kind things, but I never actually followed my true path. So in the nature of the spirit of who I am, I've always been the same. It's just that I didn't come out and I didn't shine. There is a difference between those that are constantly being the way they are, right away till they die, and they move back into their home world. So again, we could talk about this for hours, and I find it fascinating, but I think experience should be at least listened to. And I have experienced this with many clients who have lied down and had a healing session, and I can definitely say we are not all the same. And those that do see and see through everything that is happening right now, you are amazing. Keep shining, keep being the lighthouse, even though it's difficult and nobody wants to be anywhere near you. I get it. But you know what? Looking back on your life at the last breath you take and you move back home to your home world, you'll know that you did your best. Shine bright.